Toejam and Earl was a classic game. It was originally released on the Sega Genesis back in 1991 and is odd to say the least. It was released to critical acclaim for its innovative and interesting gameplay. Fast forward almost 15 years, and it was announced on Kickstarter in 2015 and promised to bring back its retro comic style and funky beats to both PC and consoles. So let's see if Toejam and Earl Back in the Groove is the return of a dope, beat-heavy game, or if this is another trip down memory lane that we should have missed. What is happening? Mattmade here, bringing you my review of Toejam and Earl Back in the Groove on PlayStation 4. The plot of Toejam and Earl is simple and straightforward. They're cruising around in a ship they took, and Toejam is trying to impress his lady friend. You know, like you do. While they're all talking back and forth, Earl messes up and gets too close to Earth. He and Toejam panic and hit a black hole switch that sucks them and the planet in, destroying their ship and stranding them in the process. They now have to go through each stage in order to find the pieces of their ship and put it back together in order to escape. It's simple and gets you right into the game. After you crash land and get past the opening scenes, you can select from 6 characters, with 3 characters on top of that being unlockable. You can play as either new Toejam and Earl or old school Toejam and Earl. And yes, the school is spelled with a K, because it's a throwback to the 90s where throwing a K in things made them cooler. Each character has different stats and a perk that is unique to them. Picking your character boils down to who you like most and what stats you want to start with. The game not only supports online multiplayer, but local co-op as well, which is something you don't see very often in games nowadays. If you go the co-op route, then some very clever and interesting things happen. Your characters interact with each other, and you'll get dialogue that you would miss if you played solo. Not only that, but returning is the mechanic of when both players are together on the screen, it stays solid. However, when you venture out of each other's sight, it then becomes split screen, so that you can explore at your leisure and not impede the other player. This is pretty cool, as you can even be on different levels with this mechanic. However, I have found that as you get farther away from each other, the game does start to slow down and chug a bit. And you do want to stick around the same level so that you can help each other out when needed. As you play the game, you get items called presents. These act as power-ups and can be either helpful or almost kill you. There were many times when I'd open up a present and it almost immediately killed me and my friend. You don't know what presents you're going to get until you open them. There are items that can reveal the contents of the present, as well as characters that will reveal the contents for a small price. However, typically you won't know what's in it, and it's all down to chance. There are a wide variety of presents, and each has its uses. Even the ones that can hurt you can be used to lay the smackdown on the enemies. As you use the presents and collect ship pieces, you gain experience, and once you have enough, you can level up. Leveling up gives you random stat boosts, from your health to your luck with presents. You have to rely on RNG in order to get what you want or need. Aside from getting presents in order to do damage or paying NPCs, there's no way to damage or get rid of enemies on the stage. They usually just chase you around trying to either hurt you or steal from you. Your best bet is to hide from them and wait until they go away. Levels are able to be traversed at your leisure. You can go either up or down whenever you want. You can also be pushed off the edge of a level and fall back down to the lower one. This can be useful as there are areas that you can get to by dropping down onto them. You can just go up, go over to the rough area where it is below you, and then drop down. You're then able to traverse the unexplored areas of the level. On top of all that, each level is vastly different, and most introduce different enemies. The stages are also detailed. You start off on a small island-like level surrounded by water, and as you go up, you get all sorts of scenery and layouts. There are stages that are dark and you have to use your flashlight to see. There are also stages where everything is frozen, and instead of water, you have ice that you can skate around on. There are even hidden paths that you have to walk near in order to activate. One undeniable fact about Toejam and Earl is that the game looks great. It's like you're playing a Saturday morning cartoon or a Nickelodeon show. The characters are all well animated and vibrant. Watching Toejam and Earl moving around is entertaining. They scurry around the levels, either hide from the enemies or check through bushes for presents and ship pieces. A weird yet funny thing is that when Earl is walking away from the camera, you can just see his crack. Like, instead of just making his pants cover it, you had to show that off. Like, just look at him. Earl is large and in charge. Great detail also went into the enemies. They are all well animated and interesting. Each one is roaming around and doing something or just hunting for you. Some are even asleep outside for some reason and will only wake up when you get in proximity of them. They'll then chase you down and attack you in all sorts of interesting and sometimes weird ways. Some will ram a drone into you, forcing you to use a present, while others try to run you over with a Segway. Every character and enemy oozes with personality. However, the thing that really sells the game, the thing that everyone remembers Toejam and Earl for, is for the music. Its funky beats make the search seem short and sweet. You're nodding your head and humming along as its diverse tracks cycle through. From the moment you boot up the game, you're transported to a simpler time where music made up the experience and accompanied vibrant and fun worlds. The tracks are so good that I was pining for an OST and wanting a way to put the soundtrack in my pocket to use as the music to my life. It makes your experience chill and very laid back. Toejam and Earl is a game that pulls heavy on nostalgia. It reminds the player of a simpler time, one where things were spelled with a K to make it cooler, and where rap and hip hop were becoming more mainstream and prominent in our culture. A time where novel ideas got praised and sequels or remakes weren't as prevalent or common. And that is what makes it fun and interesting, even to this day. If you have an opportunity to play Toejam and Earl Back in the Groove, do it. Especially if you have a friend you can go through the game with. It will be one of the most chill experiences you have had in a while. What did you think of Toejam and Earl Back in the Groove? Have you played it? Have you heard of Toejam and Earl? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget, if you're a fan of gaming, consider striking that subscribe button and hitting the bell. This is Mattmade, and I will see you tomorrow.